Yeah, beans. Yeah, beans.
Beans?
Beans. Cool, cool.
Good for the heart?
I have never seen Superbad.
You've never seen what?
Superbad.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it like at least once. I barely remember.
Wait, I wasn't in the movie. It was
I am Big Love.
I
Cool if I started. Oh. All right, guys, this first one. Sorry, it only shows up once.
very blurry.
I know, only. Trying to get it focused.
Same.
Hey, dude, that's just one myself.
Lame.
So this one's not that bad. You need. The nice thing is there's a 1 out front, so I know it can only be x and x. Then the two numbers that work, they multiply 16 and add to be 10 are 8 and 2. This is also the same answer. I always get somebody who's secretly thinking, how did he know to put the 8 first? I didn't. I just did. Put the 8 first. Either one of these is fine. That basic idea doesn't change. It's just when there's a negative somewhere in the problem, you've got to take that into consideration. So I know now the two numbers are going to multiply to be negative 32, so one of them is going to be negative. Which means when I add them, they actually subtract to be 4. So they have to be 4 apart. So when two numbers multiply to 32 but are 4 apart, 8, 4. And to be positive, which one's got to be the positive?
8.
The bigger one. And they get either one. Now if you write this, is this acceptable? Is that acceptable?
No.
No. Because the 8's got to be positive and the 4, it would have been fine as long as the 8's positive and the 4's negative, that would have been fine. How's everybody doing, right?
There's always the bigger one.
Yeah, so the acceptable other way to do this is like this. Yeah, because is 2 times 7 different from 7 times 2? No, because multiplication is commutative, so I can put either one I want to first, because it's just multiplying. And then this guy, it's got a negative, but it's not as freaky because the last number's positive. So whenever the last number's positive, they multiply to positive, meaning they both have to be the same sign. So then they actually do add to be the middle. So of course, what is it here? Multiply 27, add to be 12.
Negative 9 and negative 3?
Yeah, 3 and they're both, and 9 and they're both negative. Sure.
So do we need to explain who wants it or
Nope.
don't write down?
Yes. So I know.
Yeah.
These are one-step problems. And really the only way to get from there to there is to do like we just did. Right? Yes. The other ones are more complicated. They do require some
But
work.
I did. Explain
Dude,
everything.
wow. I've scared you too much now. You know. All right. And then number 4.
20 and negative 20. Wow.
Oh, sorry. So. Come back. Okay. Yeah, the thing with this one, I would start with two numbers that are 1 apart. And they have to make 420. So you're thinking maybe 17 and 18. But those multiplied it. Man, today's a hard day to talk. I think they multiply by 306. You can double check. That's not big enough.
21?
Yeah, eventually. So this is how you could do the problem. Start with numbers that are 1 apart and see if they multiply to be 420. And eventually you'll work your way up to this. Which one's got to be negative? 21. So then the answer there is going to be x plus 20. X plus 20. But see, what's negative 1 plus 420? So it's not negative 1. Right? So the two numbers have to multiply to be the last thing, add to be the middle thing. So, what I really want you guys to notice is when the middle number is a 1, it actually makes it a little easier in one sense. The factors have got to both be in the middle. You can't be like 420 times 1. You can't be 210 times 2. It's got to be in the middle somewhere. So it gives you a better idea of where to start with your guess and then adjust it as it needs to be. Yes?
Are 5 and 6 duplicates?
What?
He came in later.
Why did nobody tell me about that?
Everyone was saying it earlier.
Oh my God. Gosh. Well, obviously this is important or something.
I guess they are.
Oh, okay. That's what
Thanks though. All right. Let's do this one first.
And then
All right. So these got to be 3 apart. And they got to make 130. So whenever I see like 130, it's got a 0 at the end. The first thing I'm going to try happens to be the answer here. It's not always going to be. When I see 130, I'm going to think 10 and 13. That's the simplest way to factor something ends in 0. And thankfully, they would make negative 3 if what was what?
Negative
13 was negative. And then I'm done. X plus 10. X minus 13. I like it. Now this problem, screw it, that is the same. Tired of trying to come up with it. Alright, so yes, that's about the same. Alright, number 7. I know I said that they have to have a 1 in the front, and then I give you one with a 5 in the front, but what saves you? What are you supposed to try always first? GCF. I love it. And sure enough, the 5, this sucks. Thankfully, I can take it out the way. So what are you left with? It's up.
plus 4. Plus
Now watch this. Do you see how these, those two are 1 apart? Right? 3 is 1 away from 4. So then it's going to be 3 and 1. That's kind of nifty, right? 3 times 1 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. Right. Maybe? Yes?
Oh, okay.
And actually, on that problem, well, how do you factor 3? 3 and 1. So if that didn't work, you're screwed anyway. So I mean, that's, yeah, it's kind of a gimme. But for example, if I had like x squared, what you got, Jeff? I don't know, Jeff. Plus 12x plus, that's even more. X squared plus 13x plus 12. There's a lot of different ways to factor 12, right? But these are 1 apart, so it's got to be 12 and 1. So again, these are not things you have to know to go into doing this problem. I didn't have to think about it that way at all. I could have just thought 12 is 2 times 6, 12 and 1. Oh, 12 and 1, you know, I didn't have to know that. But the more of these you do notice things that will make it quicker to get through these problems. I can't possibly tell you all of them. And some of them I purposefully want to let people find they're on their own, because then it means more to you if you're making the math your own thing. I will point out stuff like that. Some of it I gotta keep for myself. And what about this guy? Yeah, there's no factors of positive 18 that had to be positive 3. If I made this, so right now this is prime. If it would have been this instead, this works. Yeah. Then it would be 6 and 3, and then the 6 has to be positive to make it positive. But that's not what the problem was, so officially that one would be prime. Thankfully, unlike number 5 and 6, number 8 was not a typo. I wanted to put at least 1 prime on there, and normally on the test I put 1 or maybe 2 primes. Yes?
Can we go back to number 7, please? How was the anything?
So again?
How was the anything? Because
So take the 5 out,
Yeah.
right? So all the numbers now are 1/5 as big. And then what 2 numbers multiply to be 3 and add to be 4?
oh,
3 and 1. So my more general point there was anytime the middle is 1 bigger than the end, or 1 off from the end, 1 and that number could be the answer. Yes.
So what did you like divide them by 5?
Yes, took a 5 out. Because we, at this moment, we have no idea how to officially factor something that doesn't have a 1 out front.
And you always put it in the front of the.
Yeah, you could put it in the back, but it's just like a coefficient. We're used to putting numbers out front so they don't get lost. Poor little things. I haven't done this in a while. We did this for a different problem, but remember this first one we got this. What could x be in general for this expression? What could x be?
Anything.
Anything. So what if x was 4? What if x is 4? Then what number is this? 4 squared, 16. We've done this kind of thing before. And this is nothing you have to ever do yourself. But I just like to show you. This is the concrete behind the abstract of what we're doing. So if x was 4, why 4? Because that's what I wanted to use. We get 16 plus 40 plus 16, which is 72. Right?
Yeah.
So that would be what the original number was if x was 4. What is this if x is 4? 6. What is this if x is 4?
Well,
Is 6 times 12 a way to factor 72? Yes. Right?
yeah.
And any number you pick for x, that will work for. So again, when I factor an expression, I am factoring an infinite number of numbers, because x could take on an infinite number of things. That's why it's a little bit difficult. Right? One number, okay. Infinite number, just a little bit harder. That's not too bad. All right, so I want you guys, if you haven't already, I'm going to set you free on this. I want you to just do the first ones. It's a lot like that other sheet that we did. The first ones are just good old FOIL. And then I really actually want you to try to read what I wrote below that and follow it.